convicted sex offenders, especially online predators, be allowed to use the internet? We found dozens on social media sites right here in Cleveland.
And the most alarming thing, a NewsChannel 5 investigation found that it's not against the law. Megan Hickey exposes the loophole.
This is 2100 Lakeside Avenue. According to Ohio's sex offender registry, it's the address of a child sexual predator, Lauren Miller. Like all sex offenders, Miller had to register his address with the state. He's also asked to provide online screen names and emails. But there's a catch.
There's nothing in the law that requires that the information provided be accurate.
At a time when 1 in every 7 kids receive unwanted sexual solicitations online, sex offenders have to give their internet names. But the list doesn't have to be real or complete. Take, for instance, this page we found. Miller never registered it. While illegal, it couldn't land him in jail. That is, until he was caught by investigators repeatedly soliciting a 14-year-old girl for sex on the internet, for the second time in less than a decade. Right now, lawmakers are working to fix the loophole.
We're going to get it fixed. The bill is now over in the House, and hopefully they'll get it passed out of there quickly enough and onto the governor for signature.
While that loophole is closing, there's another one that might be opening. States like Nevada and New York have internet access policies for sex offenders. Some require all email addresses, screen names, and other internet identifiers to be registered. And then that data is sent to social networking sites who can kick those users off. Illinois even made it a felony for registered sex offenders to use social networking sites at all.
Down, on the ground.
But in Ohio, that kind of law doesn't even exist.
But it's not a blanket rule across the state.
That's cybercrimes expert Ian Friedman.
The officers who monitor the person who is released, they can impose all of these conditions, and they have their own internal policies.
But when it comes to repeat offenders like Miller, he was allowed to be online, even though he was trolling chat rooms and making arrangements to meet up with minors for sex. Remember those terms you probably skipped through when you signed up for Facebook? Well, one of them says you will not use Facebook if you're a convicted sex offender. Well, we found dozens of convicted sex offenders in our area using Facebook just by doing an easy search by city. Like this user, convicted of gross sexual imposition with a 15-year-old. Or this one, convicted of trying to arrange sex with a 15-year-old. Or this one, for child porn. But legally, they're in the clear. Senator Akron told me he sees the danger, but said a blanket internet policy would be nearly impossible to draft in Ohio.
Very often, one size fits none.
The biggest obstacle, First Amendment objections. But what about young victims and their families?
I don't know what you say to them other than we're doing the best we can within the bounds of the rights of liberty in a free society.
I think it's dangerous. Those who go out and seek it, that's a problem. If you're chatting online with a minor or an officer posing as a minor, that's a problem.
But Friedman said those offenders should be treated differently than the culprits who stumble upon a picture online or didn't know their partner was underage.
You're always going to have people that are going to commit new crimes.
Like Lauren Miller did. Remember that address he gave on his sex offender registration? That's a homeless shelter. He hasn't lived there for nearly 3 years. Not only are his internet whereabouts unknown, police, his neighbors, and his previous victims didn't know where he lived while he was back at it online, trying to arrange sex with a 14-year-old girl. This month, Lauren Miller was found guilty of 4 counts related to sexually explicit conduct with a minor and failing to register. He'll be sentenced in May. Megan Hickey, News Channel 5.